Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the internationals, and this one's an interesting one. It's not quite an international, but it is certainly feeling like the caliber of one. Ireland A taking on the AB's 15. Our PC has already crashed twice, so hopefully this works out not too badly. As you can see, different scoreboard that has also crashed already this morning, but hopefully everything else goes smoothly. Fingers crossed. We have got a long day of streaming ahead of us, but it looks like a great night in Ireland at the moment for this game being played from the RDS Arena. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly who is able to get themselves the win here. But the AB's 15 just about to do the haka in the starting lineup. Quite a few great players and a couple actually playing in this side recently for the All Blacks up against Japan, the likes of Tuivasa Sheck and also Braden Enoy. And also we have got there, I can hear the haka from my bedroom window. Says James Cody there, and haka just started. Says Richard, I'm gutted the game isn't televised in the rest of the UK. It is a big shame because I feel like it's a match that a lot of people want to be able to watch. At the end of the day, the All Blacks 15, still the caliber of the All Blacks. Ireland A, definitely the up-and-coming talent out of Ireland. And yeah, I can't wait to see who gets the better of it. Haka boogie time. Let's go, says Nate. And also this New Zealand team is still scarily good, says Jack. Yeah, that is one thing that Ireland definitely cannot do, is underestimate this New Zealand side. They've got Damian McKenzie at number 10, Ruben Love at number 15. Now, that's a player name that some people may remember from the Irish Tour in New Zealand when they were playing up against the Māori All Blacks. He was phenomenal in a couple of those matches. Just didn't really get enough time, though, to show off his skills. Also in the front row, you can see Sean Stevenson there alongside Ruben Love. He's going to be one that maybe makes the jump to the NRL at some stage in the near future. But yeah, we have to wait and see whether or not that happens. I want to try and plug in another light, but I'm worried if I try and plug that light in, the PC is going to go boom again. So maybe what I'll do is I will grab this cable and we'll see if it's long enough. It is not. It doesn't make it to the cord. So that, tell you what, we're going to do things on the fly. Plug that in to there and then click that. That's the wrong light. That was supposed to be the other one. That's all right, though. It's a little bit more lighting for us here in All Blacks 15. Has some experience in it too. TJ Perenara, etc. Says Kian, it is indeed. And also we have got the excited to see Stockdale back, says Jack Conan. Yeah, hopefully he does have a decent game overall. One moment. We're going to go like this and like this as well. There we go. I was just setting up there. Yeah, pretty much anything that I click at the moment on my PC, I'm worried that the whole PC is going to crash. I hope that's not the case throughout the rest of the autumn internationals that we've got later on tonight. If it is, we will adapt and we will keep on going. Looking at the back line, though, for the ABs, having AJ Lamb out on one wing, Damian McKenzie at fly half, TJ Perenara at number 9. So definitely, you'd have to say the advantage in that regard goes to the All Blacks. Can Craig Casey still grow at 23 years old, says Paul Howard. Optimistic, but maybe one day we'll be able to get a little bit taller. Although that's the thing, you don't need to be tall to be a great rugby player. All we've learned from the last few years is as long as you've got the skill set, just as good as anyone else. And the mascots, the kid says mascots were taller than Craig Casey, says Jack Conan. Jeez, he gets a hard time, doesn't he? You give Hamish a thumbs up, says Lord. And there is, thank you very much, mate. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will be covering All Blacks versus Wales and Ireland versus South Africa later on today, alongside a few of the other matches. And game has just kicked off, says Richard in there. And are you going to have them early morning starts are you going to be having them early morning starts from New Zealand? I am, or late night finishes, I like to call them, as we won't actually be sleeping for another 24 hours or so. It's going to be kicked off, though, now in this contest between Ireland A and the All Blacks 15, nicely taken by Ireland just outside of their own 22 here. Casey fires it across. I think Ireland will definitely want to make sure that they get themselves a good start to this match. Now, you will hear me calling them Ireland throughout this live stream. It's not because I don't know it's the Irish A side. It is just because adding the A on the end, just extra effort, isn't it? TJ Perenara goes back across now into the hands of Dixon. Now Perenara recycles quickly, goes off to the right-hand side. Damian McKenzie in behind Ruben Love, looking for the kick. It won't quite be a 50-22, but back there, Crawley is there to take it. Or Frawley, sorry. And that is going to be the mark. And I heard that Craig Casey was still in the booster seat at 15. And glad to see the hay fever is better today, says Finton. It is indeed. Hopefully, that is the way that it stays. But I think it's because it's not as nice of a day as it was that other time that it does seem to have stayed away nicely. But Damian McKenzie now kicking it back downfield. In fact, straight down the middle of the park, trying to find the space. But Michael Lowry is back there to be able to take it, and now is looking for the touchline. Isn't able to find it. Running onto this ball now, Sean Stevenson. And for a few of these All Blacks 15 players, they would have played in the Māori All Blacks game up against the Irish in the games that they were lost, or the games that they did lose, sorry. Now Craig Casey, another knock-on advantage. Great wide pass, little grubber in behind's gone into touch. Not quite where he wanted that one to go, Jacob Stockdale, so that will be now going back for the knock-on. And also, is the game played on Super Sport? I don't believe so. I believe the only places to really watch it is on Sky Sport in New Zealand and also RTE, I believe, as your other option if you are in the UK. And also, good morning, everyone. Says Red 7, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Little mistake from the Kiwis early on in this contest, and now the Irish will have the scrum feed. But 2 minutes into this contest, it is an interesting time for the match to be starting because other than this one, I believe there's no other games that do take place at the 8:45 time on this Saturday morning in the upcoming weeks. I could be wrong in that statement, but I know a lot of them are all squeezed in to pretty much tonight, New Zealand time, and then also tomorrow morning as well. Hopefully the scoreboard is still updating as well. One moment. We'll go like this. Is the scoreboard updating? I can't actually see the scoreboard. Do let me know if the scoreboard is actually counting at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But Craig Casey puts the ball in. He's being told to use it by the referee. Matt Dixon goes off to the short side now. Nice run from Frawley. Almost able to pierce the line. Now Casey goes back again. It is going to be a nice spin from Jacob Stockdale and on advantage for offside here in favour of Ireland A as well. It's knocked down out of the hands by TJ Perenana, and they will be going back for another penalty. Almost 20k subs now. Well, haven't watched you for a long time. Says Relaxing Kiwi. Welcome in, mate. Just before 8 p.m. in the UK. And going to be, or just chilling here and watch the Saints versus Exeter. Says Kian and a hey Hamish. Says not your everyday cultures. Welcome in, mate. But Jacob Stockdale almost able to go through. Gives it off to Kieran Frawley. And it seems like the Ireland A structure in their backline is going to be very similar to what we've seen from the Ireland international side. It's one of the things that they do the best, the Irish, is just get that backline moving. And it always looks like a simulation of a video game. When they start passing, it's just perfect pinpoint accuracy. Dave Heffernan now about to throw it in for the Irish. Nicely taken by Gavin Coombs, the big Munster man. On off first receiver now, big run forward by James Hume. Casey gives it off now to Heffernan, who will once again get another carry, moving up to almost the 22 of the All Blacks 15. Now looking for the offload. It's going to be the knock on, though, and now McKenzie is able to kick it back downfield. He's got plenty of territory on that one as well, waiting for it to bounce up. Jacob Stockdale. Charged down by Sean Stevenson. More pressure being caused. Jamie Osborne wrestled down. All Blacks in the breakdown, although I think that was Tuivasa Sheck who's lost his footing there, so not able to get it back. Wait, are they playing at the RDS? They are indeed. So the Aviva has been booked out for the game later on between Ireland and South Africa. So RDS is where this game has taken place. That is going to be the penalty to Ireland once again. I believe it was for the player leaving feet against the New Zealand 15. Not really what they would have been wanting to do early on in this contest is give away 3 back-to-back penalties in the breakdown and also just around the edge of the breakdown. But Frawley will be able to kick this one into touch. Decent clearing kick downfield, about 45 metres out from the Irish line now. They are going to have themselves the line out. We have got the anyone over link that works, says Andrew. Unfortunately, I wasn't even able to find a scoreboard. I actually had to create this one myself. So I think it's one of those games that even though everyone wants to watch it, none of the broadcasters decided that they'd pick up, which is really weird because it's pretty much a test match between Ireland and the All Blacks. It's just pretty much the guys who didn't get the crack in the last test series in the New Zealand. That's going to be the knock-on from Ireland this time, and New Zealand will have themselves the scrum feed. So quite a feeling out process between these two sides early on. And what is your prediction for New Zealand versus Wales? Oh, no, sorry. The first one was what was your prediction for this one? I think from what I've seen already, it's going to be close. New Zealand not having a lot of the possession at this point in time. They have had to do a lot of defending, which means I think Ireland are going to be one of the first sides to start maybe running away with it, but then New Zealand will fire back. I think it's going to be New Zealand by 7. No, actually, I'm going Ireland by 7. It's in Ireland. It's got to be Ireland. And also, what is your prediction for New Zealand versus Wales and South Africa versus Ireland? I was saying New Zealand win that game up against Wales by 8. A little bit of a very specific one. And South Africa versus Ireland is a tough one to predict because South Africa, they've gone with Cheslin Colby at 15, which I'm interested to see how he does end up going. This Irish side's looking strong, though. So because they're in Ireland, I'm going to back the Irish by 3. But there's definitely a chance that South Africa win that game. And both sides, depending on how they go, they could win it comfortably. It's such a hard one to predict. International rugby is closer than it's ever been. And I feel like that is something that makes it so great to watch. And Andy has said, hi, bro, what's up? Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Piranada goes off to Mackenzie now to Braden Enor, trying to break through. New Zealand, starting to build up some momentum till that pass was extremely wonky. Went behind all of the defenders and all the attackers as well for Braden Enor. For the pass on the outside, trying to link up with Sean Stevenson. And he didn't find Jacobson's hand, and he certainly didn't find Stevenson's with it. Is it on DSTV? By the sounds of it, it is not. The only real options are Sky Sport 1 in New Zealand and also RTE in Ireland, I think, are the only ways of watching this game. But the thing is, it's very well broadcast in terms of it's got the normal layout of what we would see for an international test match. So I'm confused at why they couldn't get more, I guess, broadcasters to want to actually get the rights for the game. Looks like a bit of an injury at the moment for McCarthy. I'm trying to work out what's wrong with him at this stage. He's on his knee, Andy Farrell there. He will certainly be wanting this Irish A side to build momentum. They have already played very well, or it was the Irish Select 15 who were taking part in the South Africa matches. Rugby League World Cup update, 20 minutes gone in the first half. Australia 14-0. Says Nathan there, and also hi from in Australia, coming back to New Zealand on Sunday. Says Sporty Blake. And impressive start from Ireland, says Jack. And also, where can I watch live? Says Dylan. Sky Sport 1 or RTE, I believe, are your only 2 options to be able to watch this game. It's on the Irish commercial TV station, not on RTE, on terrestrial TV. Okay, so terrestrial TV is your best bet if you are in Ireland, by the sounds of it. And the Fox Auto car on a hat trick, says Nate. Geez, he started well, hasn't he? Fair enough. A very difficult game to predict tomorrow. This Irish team is very strong, has a lot of experience in key positions, especially that midfield combo, I believe. 207 caps between them. And by the looks of it, they are actually going to be making this change here. Joe McCarthy taken off, and Ross Maloney put out there on the field. James Hume is going to be going into high. And it's worrying. I've just worked out what you're talking about there in terms of the tackling technique. And also we have got there New Zealand and England are going to the semis in the T20, most probably New Zealand versus South Africa, first semi-final, and England versus India, the second semi-final. We will go like this, and there we go. Now it is going to be a Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the midfield. Like I mentioned, he was playing for the All Blacks in the game up against Japan very recently. Now, good attack and run from it was the Kiwi number 6, which for this game is actually Dom Gardner. He looks very similar to Scott Barrett, actually plays for the same club as Scooter as well. He is at the Crusaders. Decent kick and behind from New Zealand, trying to play the territory game up against Ireland A here. And now Ireland 10 metres out from their line will have themselves another line out. So it seems to be Ireland are more of the possession side in this early stage. New Zealand are more of the territory side. Now, it's an interesting battle because Ireland, you would think, having more possession would be pretty handy for them. And at the moment, you would have to say it is working. They keep on driving forward, trying to break through that New Zealand defence, but then New Zealand just end up kicking it back. As you know that the Proteas are playing the Netherlands, says Not Your Everyday Cultist. I know that they've got a match coming up relatively soon, don't they? Is that the game tonight, Not Your Everyday Cultist? Or do you know when? Oh, I think it's tonight. I'll have a look at the score. Sorry, I misread that a little bit. Or I'll look at the schedule. I believe New Zealand and India will be in the final, says Andy Mike. And what an exit, says James Cody. Yeah, very good kick downfield. And just manages to find the touchline in the end. Line out. About to be thrown in by Brodie McAllister, a name that also Crusaders fans will be familiar with. Okay, England versus Sri Lanka is tonight. That's the first match. And then after that, it is going to be Sunday, 1 p.m. South Africa versus Netherlands is when that one's taking place. So that's an early game on Sunday or a late night game in South Africa for yourself. Michael Lowry does nicely to clean up that ball after another chip and chase from the Kiwis. So tactically, it does seem like they are going for quite a kicking, attacking game, which is interesting because Leon McDonald for the Blues, you'd have to say that they probably do anything but the kicking attacking style. Now, little sell of the dummy, inside ball, not quite able to find the hands that he was after there. Jamie Osborne, and now Brodie McAllister able to find the counter attack for New Zealand. Now McKenzie goes across to the left-hand side. Gardner gives it off to Ruben Love, trying to break through the line, taken down on the 22, but the All Blacks 15. Best attacking chance of the day so far. Patrick Tuipulotu, another player who got taken out of the All Blacks side. He was initially announced in the All Blacks 15, then got added in for the game up against Japan and then taken back out. Once again, it is going to be Tavita Mafaleo. Around the side, making a few extra meters there for the Kiwis. Dixon goes off to Eno, who tries to grub her in behind. That's been shut down instantly. Luke Jacobson has to clean up the ball. 10 minutes into this game already between the two sides. AJ Lamb trying to break through. And he's going to be taken down once again. Brodie McAllister now attacking this Irish defence is certainly strong. I really like the way Irish backline play with several different running lines. Loop arounds, very smooth and entertaining to watch. And thus far, it's proven very effective as Leon playing blue style of rugby. Not really, no. You have to say that only now, when they're starting to attack, we're going to start to see maybe a little bit more of that blue style start to make its way through. Perenara back to Damian McKenzie, the cross kick. That is what I was mentioning. Sean Stevenson takes it, and he's going to score the first try of the match for the All Blacks 15. It was him on the wing versus Craig Casey. We all know who has the height advantage in that one. And Stevenson takes it on his chest, runs it in, and gets himself the first try of the contest. What we will do is we will go like this, and we will hope that our scoreboard will keep on updating. Nice one, says Novmum and Stan showing New Zealand 15 versus Barbarians, but not this game. Yeah, see, it's really weird, the licensing, because now that we're in the November internationals, I would have thought all of the games that were being shown would have actually been like just that, all of them. You know, we'd get to see every single matchup. I know in New Zealand, the only games they aren't really showing is the Rugby World Cup qualifying matches, I think. The only ones we haven't got. And is Mackenzie playing at 10 today, who is at fullback? So Mackenzie's 10, Ruben Love at fullback, who could be a future option for the All Blacks in that 15 jersey. Sean Stevenson, though, scores the first try of the match. Our scoreboard's a little bit quick. So while we are at it, we'll go like this. And there we go. We have adjusted it back. Like I mentioned, this is actually a scoreboard I have to fully control. Normally, we have an automated one. But because this match is so really televised, means that none of the broadcasting companies or the scoreboard makers thought it was taking place. It seems like D-Max Magic says Brotherhood TV, and also what channel, says Neil. If you are in Ireland, I believe someone mentioned it is on just plain, I can't remember what they said in terms of plain TV, but it is somewhere in Ireland you can watch it, and also New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport 1. And nice, Sean Stevenson says, Nate. And there's our Damian McKenzie now about to line up the kick. I assume he's going to do a signature smile at the post, asking the ball to go over. Smiling big time, McKenzie. He'll be smiling just to have that All Blacks 15 kit on. Mo was missing out on the All Blacks selection. Headed away to Japan. That kick has gone over for Damian McKenzie and now makes the score 7-0 in favour of the All Blacks 15. I am in South Africa. Okay, I don't believe there's a single broadcaster from South Africa that is available, unfortunately. And the commercial channel, not the free one in Ireland, says not everyday cultures. And also, are you streaming the Heartland 15 versus Police 15 at Telpo, Owen Delaney Park? Is that today, Clarence? Because if it is, I didn't even realise that match was taking place today. But I think there's about 2 or 3 local boys from my town in that game, which is kind of cool because we are only a town about 4,000 or 5,000. D-Mac the Goat says Lincoln. And then England TV channel says Andy Mike. I don't believe there is a broadcaster in England, unfortunately, unless you have a VPN and you can set yourself to a different location. One's gone into touch. Good clear and touch finder from McKenzie. And now 40 metres out, there will be the line out for the Irish. And thanks, says Neil, and also D-Mac the Goat. And over here in Ireland, all the games being shown on Amazon Prime with the exception of the Barbarians and New Zealand 15 on the 13th and the French Barbarians versus Fiji on the 19th of November. Says Richard Heffernan going to be going for this line-out throw. And we mentioned how New Zealand seemed like they weren't really playing like Leon McDonald's Blues. But then as soon as we saw that cross kick, it seemed like it had just lit a fire under the Kiwis. And that was exactly what they were going to be doing, going for that unorthodox style. Because that's the thing. With Ireland, it's very structured, which means if you can go for a few weird little plays amongst it, can really break their momentum. And also, let's go the All Blacks, says Abner. And also, what is the time there? Here, 7 a.m. So it is currently 9 a.m. here in New Zealand. And the Ireland games are also being shown on free-to-air TV called Virgin Media 2, says Richard. And also, nice domain, show the world that Fozzie is a fool, says Brotherhood TV. And also, we have got there, yes, it is today at 2 p.m., I think, says Clarence. So Heffernan giving away the penalty there. He was tackled by Braden Eno, then got back to his feet. And Sean Stevenson was right on there. And also this game, your scoreboard user interface is different from the normal. You're using which website you are using, says Coding. So this one is just called Keep the Score pretty much. They didn't have a normal scoreboard on my regular scoreboard site. So because of that, I had to create my own. Ruben Love breaking through. Great low tackle made there. I believe that was Hume who was able to shut down almost a certain try for the Kiwis. That looked like a little bit of off-the-ball stuff, and that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Irish. You don't need to do that. Ruben Love has taken the man down off the ball, and it has cost his team the penalty. And tell them AB's 15. Tell them by feeding that scoreboard. Says Kingi To'o. Sean Stevenson, he hit the line. Then from there, Ruben Love. It was a great run initially, taken down by James Hume. They aren't going to show the replay of what happened just yet, but I believe it was Ruben Love who went through afterwards, took down the player, and did end up with a penalty going against him. Yeah, Perenara sniped round the side. Ruben Love drove through, and the penalty went the way of Ireland A. So currently already 15 minutes through this contest. It's been flying by, but 7-0 for the All Blacks 15. Just the one try scored so far, and that was the one of Sean Stevenson, stolen by the All Blacks 15 in the line-out. First receiver now, big bump off from AJ Lamb on Kieran Frawley. He's a solid individual, that is for sure. Perenara now goes off to the right-hand side. McKenzie gives it to RTS. Enor on the outside to Ruben Love. Tried to spin his way through. Another good tackle made by Jacob Stockdale, who's been busy throughout the first 15 minutes or so. And also, which team has the upper hand here to win this match, says Coding at the moment? I mean, you'd have to say New Zealand's attack has been maybe the slightly more dangerous, but Ireland's defence has been really solid. Nice break of the line, though, for Marina Makeli too. Look flat to TJ Perenara. They might have another look at that one, depending on what happens here for the All Blacks 15. Now it's going to go back to Sean Stevenson. Normally scores quite a few tries for the Māori All Blacks. This game seems like it won't be any difference. And can't wait to watch the highlights. Thanks, broadcaster. Or thanks, brother, for broadcasting, says Brotherhood TV. No worries at all. And we have got plenty more games coming up for the Sevens, the Rugby League World Cup, the Rugby Union Internationals, and also the Women's Rugby World Cup will also be taking place on the channel later on today. Now, Perenara going off to McKenzie. Aidan Ross, one of his first carries of the contest. Perenara tried to milk that one beautifully, and he has done just that. He's an annoying halfback, TJ Perenara, I think is the best way of summarising him. Greetings from Cape Town. It's 10 p.m. at night time. Hopefully the Kiwi lads are great tonight as always. Irish have come to play hard. All Blacks should be stronger, says Roof. And also it is on Virgin Media 2 in Ireland, all the games, and the Munster versus South Africa in Cork on Thursday on the same station, says John. And also you should replace Justin Marshall, bro, says The Rock. Although I think the thing that makes this so much better than doing the commentary in the actual commentary box is the fact that I get to talk to you guys at the same time. I feel like it is always a lot more fun, if that makes sense. And also, is Eno in the New Zealand 15 squad? He is. So he got taken out of the main squad, put into the All Blacks 15. Same with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. So I'm not too sure what the system is for how you get added and not added into the side. Because Patrick Tuipulotu, he did something similar. New Zealand Heartland 15 versus New Zealand Police is on today, confirmed at Owen Delaney Park at 2:05 on Sky Sport 1. Says Clarence there. And of course, it makes sense, bro. Keep up the good work, says Rock. And there's now 20 metres out from the line. Brody McAllister going to be throwing this one in for the All Blacks 15. It's gone over the top to Josh Dixon. A little bit of a set play there. And Luke Jacobson has now claimed that one. Perenara goes back across to Aidan Ross. Only about 15 metres out from the line now for the AB's 15. Another good attack and run from Dom Gardner. Now, would have cycled nicely. Luke Jacobson trying to bump over the top of Frawley. He's had a tough start to this match. Everyone just wants to run over the top of him. Ruben Love there somehow has been able to hang on to that ball. It's going to be the advantage and the penalty going the way of the Kiwis. And also, what channel is it on in England? I don't believe they've actually got an option in England to be able to watch this game, unfortunately. And will there be another try? Says Novmum there. I think so. I think we need to try relatively soon. Definitely if the All Blacks decide that they do want to go into the corner with this one rather than taking the 3 not being shown in England, man, unless you have a VPN and use it for Virgin Media in Ireland, says Richard. And there's also, I believe Jacob Stockdale was the man who was penalised for that one. Mackenzie will be kicking this one for the touchline. This New Zealand side is going to play very similar to what we see from the Barbarians in terms of just the attack and the attack and the attack. And there's no chemistry between Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Eno in the centres. Yeah, not the combination for the ABs. Hardly the combination for the All Blacks 15 either, to be fair at this point. That throw's gone into Patrick Tuipulotu. The rolling maul begins for the All Blacks. Brodie McAllister at the back with the ball in hand. He scores many tries for the Crusaders throughout Super Rugby Pacific in this exact fashion. Still going forward, and they go down over the line. And the All Blacks 15 will get themselves their second try of the contest, now moving up to 12. And also Geordie and Rico, I believe that is from Rapata. And also we have got there, who's your first choice, 12 and 13 for the ABs for the 2023 World Cup, I think. I mean, if they're willing to give Geordie Barrett more time at 12, he could certainly become the inside centre option. Other than that, though, I think it's probably going to be that Havili Rico Ioane combination. I'm still not sure if it is the best that we've got, but seems to be what they have gone with the most over the most recent, like 5 to 10 games, more likely. And as you won today between the All Blacks versus Samoa, it was in the end Samoa. They won 24-0, dominated the New Zealand 7 side. And then what about Anton Lienert-Brown? I think Anton Lienert-Brown for me is my 13 if Rico's not there. If Rico transitions back out to the left wing, I would have Anton Lienert-Brown as 13. But I think him, similar to what we saw for Goodhue and Lienert-Brown, I don't think you can have both of them in the starting lineup just because they're too similar of a player. And I think Havili and Lienert-Brown might be a little bit similar in that regard as well. You need someone with pace and you need someone with the strength and the crash ball. And I feel like Anton Lienert-Brown, he's got a mixture of both. But he wants a pacer or a speedster, either on his inside or his outside as well. And what do you think about this New Zealand team, Hamish? Are they going to click? Score prediction, please. At the moment, it looks like they're clicking pretty well up against the Ireland A side. First 20 minutes, they had a couple mistakes early, but other than that, they seem like they are pretty on par with what they wanted to do in this contest, sitting now 14-0 after the successful kick from Damian McKenzie. So 22 minutes in, 14-0 for New Zealand. And also, is your first choice 6, 7, and 8 for the AB's World Cup? Sorry, man, I have to pick your brain. Ask this question, says Rock. So first choice 6, I want to say it's Akira Ioane, but I'm not too sure. Actually, no. By the time we get to the World Cup, Ethan Blackadder is my number 6. Number 7, I mean, I'm still of the mindset that Artie Savia should still be a 7 rather than the 8. So if they're not going to go with Artie Savia at 7, I'd probably give it to Papali'i at 7 and then Savia at 8. If not, I would go Savia at 7 and then maybe, I mean, I'm a fan of Luke Jacobson at 8 or maybe a youngster like Cullen Grace getting the opportunity. I feel Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Eno robbing Levi and Nanks from starting tonight. Says Brotherhood TV, a lot of pressure there on the Irish A. Heffernan's able to clean up, though, for Ireland, and they will once again have the possession inside of their own half, going back across to Luckman. Now Frawley. Ball on the outside. Hume wants to get himself a try before the end of this first half. The same with Ireland A. And Eki lad choice. Mickey, all right, says Mark Roberts. Now it's going to be stolen back from the Kiwis for half a second and then back into the hands of the Irish again. Luckman now going to be playing halfback. Goes across to the right. Now the draw and pass rush defence there on Michael Lowry by Tuipulotu. Luckman breaking the line. Coombs on the outside. Gives it off nicely, and this is starting. No. Unfortunately, the ball has gone down. Osborne tried to link up with Hume, and it just didn't quite work. So the Irish centre combination may end up going not too well for them either. Now, big run forward from Jamie Osborne. And also, we have got there last time I was here, I lost my keys. Have you seen them, says Chris? Not that I know of. I'll keep an eye out, though. If we find them, I'll let you know. I'll put them in the lost property. And also, Anton Lienert-Brown and Havili, says Nate, and Geordie and Rico. And also, I don't know much about rugby. Can you tell me which teams are most favourites nowadays since 5 years? I would say that's a very tough question because it's actually massive with how far a lot of these teams that were considered lower have now progressed, I guess is the best way of describing it. So top dogs at the moment in the world of rugby, you'd have to say Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa. And then maybe England still get themselves in there a little bit. Australia can have their good games as well. But the fact that all 4 of those first sides that I listed are all on the same side of the Rugby World Cup draw is absolutely massive. The combo you mentioned for the Lucies, which means Kane not be playing in the World Cup. I think he will be injured again by the time we get to 2023. And it's just the question of whether or not he hangs up his boots before he ends up with another injury. And as Sam Kane is injury prone, says Nate there, what's the difference between the Māori ABs and the New Zealand 15? Pretty much anyone is eligible for the All Blacks 15. To be in the Māori All Blacks, you have to have either a little bit of Māori blood yourself or Māori descent or Māori ancestors, I believe it is, gets you into the side. So that's the main difference of the two. And also we have got the Crusaders seem to be the top side in Super Rugby, so quite a lot of Crusaders make the All Blacks team. Had some great players coming from Canterbury. Says Roof, it's going to be thrown in by Ireland. Stolen again at line-out time. But Frawley tries to pick it up. Doesn't get it. Instead, T-Mac has got the ball. Gives it off to Dorvasashek. Flicks it out the back. Risky offload, but it's gone into open space for Patrick Tuipulotu with the inside ball to Damien McKenzie. Ball on the outside to Ruben Love. One more to Sean Stevenson. And it's looking almost like a full-field try for the Kiwis. Stevenson scores again. And he's really trying to jockey for maybe a spot on the right wing for the All Blacks. In the future, the Irish supporters are disappointed with that one deep inside of their own 22. The Kiwis managed to break their way through. New Zealand got a third try, says Richard. They sure did. Just saw it on the TV. It was the mistake from Ireland at line-out time. Then from there, Damien McKenzie attacking the line hard. It was fly half versus fly half. He got the better of Frawley. Ruben Love, ball on the outside. Gave it off to Sean Stevenson, who steps round one, gets round Gavin Coombs, and then puts the ball down for another try. And Richard spoiling things. Says not everyday cultures and fair play to New Zealand ripping us apart. Says ball out and damn, let's go. Sean keep pushing for the AB spot. Sounds like Damien is sparkling. That back line, am I right? How is he so far? Yeah, he has been good so far. Damien McKenzie, his kicking's been accurate, which is something that can be very handy indeed for the ABs. But yeah, it's been going very strong at fly half. Do you think Nuggie has slowed down a bit? Looks like he is still out first class. But I think he is much slower than he was and more than the rest of the number 9, such as Fuff, Jameson, Gibson Park, etc. Yeah, I think for Aaron Smith, he has got a little bit slower over the last little while, but the thing that still helps him big time is that bullet pass and the vision that he has got. He seems to be able to pick out a defender or pick out his attacking player way before he gets to the breakdown, which I think is the big difference between him and Finlay Christie currently. Last week up against Japan, we saw Christie had to have a moment to think about it once he got to the breakdown. Whereas Aaron Smith, he normally already knows where he's passing before he's even run towards the breakdown, if that makes sense. McKenzie strikes, trying to line it up this time, and that one has drifted away to the right-hand side, so the score will remain 19-0 in favour of the All Blacks 15 over the Ireland A. And also, hello, says Ollie, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well, and heck yeah, come on, the All Blacks, or that 15 mana. Says Mark Roberts there. But Sean Stevenson, now he has found himself sitting on a hat trick here. Andy Farrell will be pretty impressed with the way that this match has been going for the All Blacks, but not so much for his side throughout the early stages. But he knows that they've got certainly plenty left in the gas tank to try and give it in the second half. Get themselves back into the game. It's going to be a good run forward. Ireland with Casey. Now Lowry has decided to join in at fly half just for that one. I see at the moment, Ross Maloney is still out there on the field, so I believe the HIA has been failed more than likely by Joe McCarthy, or the injury will be too serious to continue. Casey goes across now. It seems like the New Zealand defence is just rushing up, making Ireland hesitate a little bit, which can end up with a few mistakes coming. That's a big shot on Gavin Thornbury. Driven backwards. Casey now going off to the right-hand side. Michael Lowry hit hard. Crowd asking for the penalty for the high shot, but I believe he was falling into it. Now I'll run from Ross Maloney, moving up to 5 phases now for the Irish. Frawley going for the kick in behind. Going to be well controlled by Ruben Love at the back, and he will kick it way back down the middle of the park. Nicely taken at the back. Now Hume has the attack and run. Not quite able to get through that breakdown or through that back line. Oh, the Kiwis rushed defence from Perenara. Got up extremely early and also was onside in the process there. And also doing well yourself. I am doing very well, mate. A lot of rugby on. I actually did some calculations on my phone last night, and I learned that if we do every single live stream that we are planning on doing, we are going to be live streaming for a total of 13 and a half hours throughout the next I'd say next 14 hours, we have got another 12 hours of live streams, somewhere along those lines. Or sorry, the next 24 hours, I should say. And this team should take on the ABs. Says Dalmain there, do you think Conrad Smith's defensive game has yet to be matched since he left? Who else do we have in the midfield? They can come close to matching his skills, says Rock. There's not really anyone at the moment. Okay. They are saying that Perinato's tackle on Lowry might have been a little bit high. They may go back to check this one. Yep. They have given it as the penalty against DJ Perinato on Māori tattoos. That's a trademark on New Zealand Rugby. Hamish, you had a tattoo done? I do not have any tattoos at this stage. I don't think I'm decisive enough to pick a tattoo that I could get without going 5 minutes later, oh, I should have got a different one. And what's the time for you at the moment? It is 28 minutes through this contest. So the scoreboard's a little bit quick, but that is because we have been updating it ourselves on this live stream. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit closer to the time. But now the Ireland A side try and kick it for touch. Frawley hasn't found the touchline though, and now McKenzie will be able to kick it back downfield. Massive kick. Craig Casey has to take it. Does it quickly. Now Frawley will go back down the middle of the field. Seems like the territory battle at the moment is certainly one that is intriguing for this one. TJ Perinato tries to go through. Tackled hard by Luckman. And no, what's the time in your country, says Ollie. At the moment, it is 9:19 a.m. At this point in time, Ruben Love tries to tap it back. It is going to be a knock-on against him. Now Craig Casey finds the offload. The offload was successful. Number 23 also out there on the field. Don't remember him making his way out there, but I guess another injury for the Irish meant that they did have to make a double substitution perhaps. And it looks like number 23 might be injured now. No, that's number 12, James Hume. That's all right. As long as they don't have any other injuries for Ireland A. I mean, bouncing downfield, kicked in behind from Ireland, but it goes straight to Damien McKenzie, who will now look for his next attack. It looks like he's got AJ Lamb with him, who tries to bump straight through to defence, and he's successful in the process. Accelerating RDS. AJ Lamb still breaking forward up to the 22. Good low tackle made by Jamie Osborne. Had to be made. Tuivasa-Sheck goes off to Tui Palotu. Look for the offload on the inside. It's going to be a knock-on against the Kiwis, I believe, because Ruben Love thinks he might have just scored that. So they're going to have to check this one more than likely. And do you have any idea why Peter Umaga-Jensen is yet to be given a chance? I expected him to be in the the 15 squad. Yeah, it's interesting. I think maybe because they were drifting between like Tuivasa-Sheck and Enor, maybe they had in the back of their minds that they were going to put them in the midfield of the All Blacks 15. So that's probably one of the only reasons I can think of that he missed, unless, of course, there's some sort of injury in there as well. I'm very happy Stockdale isn't starting tomorrow. Looks way off it, says Jack. And Aussie, yeah, All Blacks are clicking now, and the Brits will be scratching their heads as to why McKenzie is not in the ABs. He's a class act, says one bung lung. In the morning hours, what time is the Ireland versus South Africa game on New Zealand time, says T7. So that is going to be a 6:30 a.m. start time for us here in New Zealand. So it is an early day, but we have also got another game after that. That was a late shot from Luke Jacobson that they might end up having a look at here. He's coming from far away. I think that's actually what injured James Hume, was the shot from Luke Jacobson. So it's just more of the question of was there any contact to the head? I'm going to quickly stop my scoreboard for a second. Now, this one will be an interesting decision for this match because Jacobson, he could find himself getting the penalty reversed. I believe that it's Adam Leal alongside Matt Dixon for this one, and D-Mac getting smacked around the Bunnings, or in the Bunnings EBC after returning from Japan, says Nate. Right, we've got it from a different angle. So Prendergast tackled low by Marino Mikaeli too. That's completely fine. Okay. No arms used. It's from the side and it's late. It's going to be a yellow card against Luke Jacobson. Number 7. Going to find himself now off the field for the next 10 minutes. That is Luke Jacobson being penalised. Of course, when I said that I would like to see him at number 8, I didn't realise he would be doing challenges like that. That could cost you in a big game. Luckily for the Kiwis, though, at this point, they have been able to put quite a few points on the board first. But yeah, certainly not what you want to be doing in a bigger match. And surely Tonga win versus Spain, says Xavier. They should have a decent chance. They've got a good side. Although Spain in the sevens, if they're anything to go by, certainly play with a lot of heart. But yes, should still be Tonga's game. And heck yeah, they're doing the Macarena, says Mark Roberts, and also New Zealand winning everything, says Cooper Cronk. And there as well. It's interesting, isn't it, how they go through phases. For the Kiwis, they either lose at everything or win at everything. And when they're winning at everything, everyone is saying how good they are. When they lose at everything, everyone either goes silent or they say that we should really just not play sport. It's a weird combination. I tell you, it seems to be they either go really good or really bad for New Zealand in a whole. And also we have got there, can you rate the top 3 packs in the World Rugby right now? Is it France, Ireland, and England? What do the ABs need to do? Or who do they need to include to be in the top 3, says Rock. And there's, we'll have a quick think about it while the Irish are on attack. Currently 9 minutes left. Craig Casey is slapped down out of his hands by TJ Perenara. He's really mastered doing that and annoying opposition halfbacks. Now 40 metres out from the line. Good attack and run from, I believe that was Kelvin Nash. Now advantage goes in favour of the Irish. And go on the ball. Tavita Mafaleo unable to get it. Craig Casey complaining there. Takes the quick tap. He wasn't on the mark though. So, top 3. I mean, France is certainly up there. I would say Ireland's pack are there as well. England depends on who they pick a little bit. Because you'd have to say that the Springbok pack is right up there as well in terms of the top 3 packs. Because when they go with their right combination, you could pick Kitsoff, Marks, Malharba, Etzebeth, Ludiacha, Khaleesi, Detoy, and then Jasper Wiese. Like, that's a pretty strong 8 to have. And didn't Spain get kicked out of the Rugby World Cup for playing a South African in a qualifier, even though they won it big in the games, says Xavier. It is indeed the case because they have one player who was ineligible. It's cost the country their World Cup, and pretty much they have to wait now another 7 years or so, or at the moment it's about 5 or 6 for them before they get another opportunity. And let's go the All Blacks, says Roy. And also great accurate passing from New Zealand, quick moves, catches the opposition on the wrong foot. And also, heck yeah, that's the ticket, boys. And how's Roger Tuivasa-Sheck been doing? I haven't heard you mention him much. He's been a bit rough in this game overall. Like, he hasn't done anything too successful, hasn't done anything too bad either. But, he hasn't really lit the backline on fire, which is something you would expect from Tuivasa-Sheck with how hard he's trying to work to get into the All Blacks. Once again, down the short side now for Ireland. The kick in behind might be a little bit too much on it. No, Perenara has to force it, and it will be a goal line dropout now for the Irish. As Cody Taylor, a bit of a liability at the moment and leading up to the World Cup. Well, your 3 choices that are going to be in the World Cup squad, says Rock there. As well, I feel like we've got a rugby Q&A going on at the moment, Rock. But I would say that's a pretty big kick downfield from Dom Gardner, I should mention, but it created a counter-attack in the end for the Irish. So for me, it's Samisoni Takiaho. It's a tricky one because you got to pick 3 hookers, don't you? So you can't just have 1 or 2. I would say Asafa Moore is certainly working his way towards it. It's too soon or too late to go with someone like a Tyrone Thompson, I think, even though he has been going very well. So I'd say Cody Taylor's still my pick out of Cody Taylor or Dane Coles. And I reckon AO says Nate, and 3:23 p.m. here in USA and Arkansas. What does that mean? The XV mean, is it the regular All Blacks? I thought we were in Wales, Cardiff. So it is the All Blacks 15. So pretty much the only difference is the All Blacks. They are the 35-man squad or so, and they are playing in Wales. And then alongside that, this is the All Blacks 15. So it's kind of the B side, I guess you could say, or New Zealand A would be another way of describing it. Amor should be there, says Wang Bang Lung there. Kicked him behind from New Zealand, looking for the 50-22. It's not going to fall the way that they need it to. Shane Daly has to clean it up because him and Kelvin Nash just looked at the ball. Now Jacob Stockdale trying to break through. Dom Gardner, though, able to make the tackle on him. 34 minutes into this game. I don't believe the roll was sufficient from the Kiwis. Now, Craig Casey asking for another penalty in the breakdown. Frawley goes across to Prendergast, tries to go through. Moves to 40 out from the Irish line. And what Amish does get the jobs in there as well, says Nate. Now back across onto the right-hand side. Maloney. Oh, Aiden Ross considered going in. That's going to be a penalty against New Zealand, I would think, if they keep on going in the breakdown. Yeah, they didn't have the player initially rolling away. So they weren't actually able to go for it. Come on, let's keep them scoreless. And there says Brotherhood TV and All Blacks 15 all the way. Any New Zealand team wearing black jersey is lethal and very dangerous, says Gita. And there as well. And also we're going to surely if the Wallabies select Skelton and Tupou, it would have the best back, says Xavier Brown. I mean, now that Michael Hooper's back, he is also, I guess, boosting their stocks big time for the Wallabies. Front row-wise, I mean, you've got Tupou. Number 2, I would say, is a little bit more of a question mark because you look at the sides that we listed. You know, you've got Malcolm Marks as one of those players. If you look at the Irish hooker, you've got either Dan Sheehan or the other fellow whose name I've now forgotten, unfortunately, just off the top of my head. But then you look at Australia and they've got Lachlan Lonergan, Dave Parecki, and Folau Fainga'a. So I feel like they're good. Folau Fainga'a is probably getting into that kind of category, but I don't know whether or not they've got that world-class hooker yet to then be able to, I guess, boost them up a little bit in that forward pack, if that makes sense. And Simba loved that name, Naughty Corner for 10 minutes. Take advantage of the one man down, says Ruth. That is a good point. Still 4 minutes left, and New Zealand are yet to concede with only the 14 men out on the field now going off to the right-hand side. It's going to be Craig Casey. Moving up to 25 metres out from the line. Short side again, Gavin Coombs. Great carry forward from him. And also we're there, Nate Hours the Haka. Feel the goosebumps again, and will Rays get the job at the end of 2023. It would be devastating to lose him to another top-tier international or top-tier national, says a Rocker Neil. I don't know what their plan is with Razor at the moment. I hope that he gets the opportunity, but it just seems to be they're trying to do everything in their power to prove everyone wrong. But it's not really working at the moment for them. Hume with the short border, Prendergast, another of 5, Frawley. Oh, he was on his back, but I believe he's still got the ball down. Kieran Frawley scores for the Ireland A, and that will certainly boost the spirits of the crowd who have now erupted at the RDS. And did you watch the Kiwi Ferns? Are they just as dangerous as the Black Ferns? Says Cooper Cronk. And there as well, the Kiwi Ferns. Who are the Kiwi Ferns? Do let me know. It's not the Sevens, is it? And yep, all those things I think also, says Mark, and also thank you for letting me know. It's hard keeping up with the differences in my time zone, says Kerman there as well. No worries at all, mate. It's going to be a nice short ball to Prendergast. Found the offload up. An offload from Tom O'Toole as well. Kiwi lads rocking this game, says Roof, and that kick has gone over, making the score now 7-0. Well, sorry, not 7-0, 7 points to 19. Ireland still down by the 2 converted tries at this point in time, but they've still got the man advantage for another 2.5 minutes. So maybe they might be able to get something going throughout that time. The tackle attempt from Enor just wasn't quite sufficient enough. He wasn't able to stop Frawley when he was that close to the line. He was also out to the side, but that was because Ireland were just offloading for fun. But they're showing there Michael Lowry. I believe he is now back out on the field, so that is good news that he has been able to pass his HIA. What is your prediction for the Black Ferns versus France? Oh, it's going to be tricky. We are actually covering that game on the channel with my mum as well, I should mention. But, I mean, I'd like to think New Zealand should be favourites because they're at home. And also they've had a decent World Cup campaign so far. But France could certainly cause the upset in that matchup. We will be watching it very closely at 7:30 when it kicks off. But Craig Casey now putting the ball up high. Sun's coming down. Ruben Love takes nicely. Gives it off to Damian McKenzie, who almost pierced the line. Caleb Clark's defensive game is a bit lacking. Do you think he can improve his defensive game by the World Cup? If not, he's just one-dimensional, don't you think? Says The Rock. And there as well. Well, I guess Caleb Clark, it's one of those ones that they were really putting him in due to his attacking game. Tackling-wise, I feel like it's just getting more minutes under his belt. He only recently returned from his injury this year, didn't he? So he's got plenty more time to be able to work on that. Probably another 10 or so internationals, also a Super Rugby season with the Blues. So I think that will certainly help him out in terms of that defensive caliber. If he does get it wrong, though, at the end of the day, they've still got other number 11 options, even if that is Rieko Ioane, who makes his way back out onto the wing just for that little bit of extra pace. You've also got Sever Reese, Lester Fai, and Arnuku. A few of those other options for the ABs as well. Hopefully our Black Ferns get the W after our Kiwi girl wins, says Nate. And also the Kiwi Ferns beat France 46-0. Go the Black Ferns, says Cooper Cronk as well. Only 20 seconds left of the first half in this contest. 19 points to 7. The moment the way that this one is sitting. Ireland considered going for the counter ruck. They weren't quite able to. 6 seconds left. Perenara back into the pocket. I think the referee actually said that the time is up. So that is going to be halftime. 19 points to 7 in this contest. We will... Oh, no, I stopped it 1 second early. There we go. We've got it on the 40 there. So halftime in this contest. That's currently sitting 19 points for the New Zealand 15. And Ireland A have got themselves these 7 points. So a relatively... You'd say a relatively action-packed first half. We've seen quite a bit from both sides going back and forth in this game. Ireland started very well. For the first 10 minutes, they were the better side. And then after that, the New Zealand 15 just seemed to really ramp it up. In the last 10 minutes, you'd have to say almost the momentum went back in favour of Ireland A with that try being scored by Kieran Frawley. Personally, I was really hoping for Blackadder to play himself and establish himself as the incumbent number 6. Such a shame that he is injured, says Rock. And unfortunately, with a player like Ethan Blackadder, there will be more injuries in the future. It's just because if you're out there and given 150% every single matchup, unfortunately, if you get the error or the margin for error wrong, you do end up getting yourself injured, which is something that the All Blacks, they'll have to do strategically with him. They don't want to hurt him because he's a workhorse and he'll keep on going until his body stops working. And Hamish, who's your key players here, are the match winner for New Zealand. I'd say Damian McKenzie's done very well. Sean Stevenson also with the double out on the wing. He's been very strong indeed with his finishing. Ruben Love, he's tried to get involved in this game quite a bit. It hasn't really worked yet for him. He's had a couple little errors in the way that he's running, but he's a class player. You can tell that he would normally end up going very well, but he has just been making those little mistakes. At this current point in time, I'd say that those are probably my players to pick. If I had to pick someone in the forward pack, I mean, Makeli too hasn't gone too bad. Gardner hasn't been terrible for the Kiwis either. And for the Irish, if I had to pick a key player, Kieran Frawley looks like he is certainly working hard for them in this matchup. James Humes had the ball a bit as well. And then Kian Prendergast has had quite a few runs with the ball as well. Yeah, currently halftime in this contest. Possession, I would think, would be relatively even in this AB's better win. I bet my 5 years savings in this game, says Nodakaza. And their question, what were the odds paying when you bet it? Because I know that the Ireland A side probably would have come in as slight underdogs for this matchup. I'm going to have a look at the TAB now and see what they have got as the betting odds. I'd like to think that New Zealand would be paying about maybe $1.10 compared to Ireland, who might find themselves at about $4 at this point in time. And D-Mac still the GOAT. So there's a Lincoln Harper there. So I guess the big question is, will D-Mac make his way back into the ABs at some stage in the near future before the Rugby World Cup in 2023? The All Blacks have got that massive opening fixture up against the French. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, I'm going to check how many days away that is, but I believe it's only about 320 days or so. It's going to be pretty awesome. And then the Waka Blonde, Ruben Love. And do you think Peter Gus from the Chiefs is the ideal body type and build for the number 8? That try against Ireland was a typical number 8 type of try. I think the only thing that lets Peter Gus Soakula down at the moment is his handling. We saw it throughout Super Rugby. And that was actually my first initial, I guess, pick for why he wouldn't get into the All Blacks, or my reasoning for why he wouldn't get into the All Blacks was the fact that he does drop the ball almost more times than he hangs on to it. It's something that he's working on, but it's still something that I think he needs a little bit more time before he gets that number 8 or number 6 jersey locked down for the All Blacks. Looks like the ABs have useful backs. Ireland kicking the ball too long, giving them time, says Saturday player. And yeah, it's interesting because at the start of the match, it was actually New Zealand who were going for more of the kicking, but then it seems like it switched over. We've got an interesting ad at the moment. We've got an ad where a man is caressing a tractor. And also, hello in the pub. Could be a lot worse. All Blacks offside every time another ref would have given Ireland 20 penalties, says Richard English. And I guess in a way, you know, it's one of those ones that if the All Blacks aren't getting penalised for it, they will keep on doing it. And until the referee starts blowing the whistle, I feel like it's one of those ones that you do it until you're penalised, even though, yes, it will annoy the opposition. Like TJ Perenara in the breakdown, I think he has been a little bit dodgy at times throughout this matchup. And will this game replay be uploaded to YouTube? I hope that it is. I know that the highlights will be on the All Blacks YouTube channel, but just the highlights package rather than the full length of the game. But someone will surely do an illegal upload of it at some point in the future. And heck yeah, who's the one doing all the moves, says Mark. I would say it's Damian McKenzie. And also, yeah, like I mentioned a bit earlier on, with Sean Stevenson in there as well. Oh, they're actually showing the try that Ireland were able to score up against the New Zealanders at Eden Park. Now, the thing is, Ireland in every match up against New Zealand were able to score very quickly and sufficiently. Whereas in this game, the Ireland A, it took them about 37 minutes to be able to get themselves a try. So maybe not quite as clinical as the Irish international side that will actually be playing a bit later on today up against the South Africans. And Andre Watson says, Nate, there, if you were to choose between Nigel Owens and Wayne Barnes, who do you think is better suited to referee the ABs? Says The Rock. I mean, you would go Nigel, just because I guess he's got plenty of experience. And I mean, that's the thing. Wayne Barnes would probably do all right as well, but I'd probably go Nigel Owens if you had to pick one. And also super cool, Nate, cheers from, says Mark. And there's but currently they are just showing those highlights of the New Zealand versus Irish game. Unfortunately, we've got to wait a little while until we get to see that match again. It could be the 2023 semi, or in fact, quarterfinal of the Rugby World Cup. Ireland is still in this if they keep the ball, says Richard. Exactly right. All they need is an early try here in the second half, and they will be right back in the contest. And New Zealand need to make sure they don't allow the Irish any chances early on, or else then that momentum will start to build. I believe New Zealand will still have a yellow card for another maybe 50 seconds, somewhere around there, just under the minute. So as soon as we have the first kind of stoppage of play, New Zealand will end up going back to 15. So that was Luke Jacobson who ended up with the yellow card in the first half. For anyone wondering what else we are covering on the channel in terms of rugby union today, we have got the matchup taking place between the All Blacks and Wales. We are doing the Women's World Cup game between New Zealand and France. Also later on in the evening, we have got Ireland versus South Africa and France versus Australia. We are covering both of those games on the channel. So if you are new and you do enjoy a bit of rugby union, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, we are going to be covering the Rugby League World Cup matchup between Papua New Guinea and England. That will be kicking off at 3:30 a.m. And you may think to yourself, hang on, the All Blacks are on at 4:15 a.m. And we're actually going to end up with a bit of a co-commentary scenario. I'm going to be doing the Rugby League World Cup, and my parents are actually going to be doing the first half of New Zealand versus Wales. And great to see Mackenzie in a New Zealand jersey. Casey are getting no protection in the Irish Pool organisation, says Michael Cormack there. And also the battle of the packs between Ireland and the Box. It's going to be a clash of the Titans. Mate, who is the edge and why, says The Rock. It is literally a Q&A, isn't it? But edge for me at the moment, I would say, I want to say Ireland because they're at home, but South Africa on the road will certainly be an angry side. And so when is your next match, says Richard. So theoretically, I believe it will be one of the sevens matches that are taking place this afternoon. I haven't quite decided what time I am starting yet. Could be at 5:15 p.m. New Zealand time, or it could end up being at around 6:10 p.m. or maybe even 7 p.m. New Zealand time for Australia versus Samoa. We will wait and see kind of what time we end up waking up, because I think I'll end up going back to sleep after this live stream just to get a few more hours in, as we have got a hectic night going right through to about 11:30 a.m. They are actually just showing that Peter Gustawakula try that he was able to get for himself in that New Zealand versus Ireland game. I wonder if they're just going to show the highlights of Eden Park, because of course New Zealand won that game. So maybe that is why they are just showing those highlights rather than the other two fixtures. Comfortable lead for the All Blacks. They need to keep the pressure up in the second half. Can't afford to relax. Irish can sprint back in no time. Go New Zealand, says Roof. Exactly right. Because all it takes is one converted try and they are within 7. A very true, Roof. And also, what time is it there now? It is currently 9:41 a.m. New Zealand time. So I'll probably end up sleeping during the late morning, early afternoon period. I'm hoping to schedule the live streams, though, before I end up going to sleep. That is the plan anyway. So we'll try and get that one done. Although, actually, to be fair, it might be after. Now that I think about it. Yeah, it might actually be after that we schedule it. We'll see. See how we're going. At the moment, halftime in this matchup. It seems like it's going to be a relatively long halftime break. And also we have got there in their good game so far. Looking forward to the second day of the Hong Kong Rugby 7 Cents Rugby Itch. And there's, it's going to be a pretty entertaining day. Hopefully will be a few close matches. We didn't really get to see too many massive runaways in that first round. Oh, there were a few though, weren't there? A couple close games. Overall, Spain versus USA, I think, was the game that was the closest out of all of them. And I'm happy Saturday go New Zealand. And also we've got the amateur, you're going to suit up for New Zealand versus Wales. Probably not, mainly because my parents are going to be covering the first half of that matchup. And I will actually be live for Papua New Guinea versus England at the time. So we probably won't have the suit for a couple of these matches of international, but maybe next round we will end up having the suit all back and ready to go. I think Foz and Co. Should have a regular 15 that start playing each and every game prior to the World Cup, unless there are injuries, of course, and this team looks better than our main squad, says Max. And hey, Rugby Itch says not everyday cultist. And also we have got there, keep grinding, New Zealand 15. They're just showing some Makita power tools. Get yourself a chainsaw. I feel like having a chainsaw is a very dangerous thing to have. Definitely when you know George. George is one of those guys who would end up using a chainsaw on just a random fence that, like, he owns, of course, but just to see what it would do. And I don't have the England women's game. I don't have it on TV, says Richard. And, of course, England, they are actually going to be playing up against, is it Canada that they are playing in the Women's Rugby World Cup? That is the afternoon game that has taken place at about 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time. What a weekend of ruggers here. There is plenty on, that is for sure. There's a lot of ads at the moment in New Zealand. I'm getting a McDonald's one. They're just trying to make me hungry, I think. And hey, hope all is well. Can't wait to live stream the Autumn Nations as well. Says Rugby Itch, I should say. And there, that was great marketing as well, Rugby Itch, the way that you were able to do that. I do respect it. But at the moment, waiting for the second half of this game to get underway. Do let me know what you think the end score in this game will be, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, it is 19 points to 7 in favour of the All Blacks 15. And, I think we're going to see a good second half start from the Irish. Do you think Ireland, or do you think New Zealand can beat England in the Rugby World Cup semis? Says Rugby Itch. New Zealand can beat England in the Rugby World Cup semis. Which sport are we talking? Because I know Rugby League, they're playing Fiji. Rugby Union for the women's, they're playing France. And then are you talking cricket? No, that's RWC, sorry. In the sevens, semis? No, Great Britain are there. Are we talking France? We might be talking France rather than England. And I think it's going to be a close game in that matchup. And, yeah, I'm going to say the Black Ferns can do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if France were able to do so. I just popped in to check the score. All Blacks still showing they cannot be underestimated, says Wolf Song. And also we have got there is Colby, a bit of a smaller size, or a bit on the smaller size to be playing 15. It's a decent question, but we have just seen in this game that they have actually got, who was it? Who's that number 15? Michael Lowry, and he's one of the smallest 15s around, although saying that the scoreline doesn't really help the argument there, I guess, but I think he's going to go all right, Cheslin Colby. He has played 15 in the past for his French side, and also not really too much at international level, though, for the Springboks. And meant France for the Women's World Cup. I also think New Zealand can win, says Rugby Itch. Is Lebanon winning at the moment? Rugby League, they are not currently. Believe the last time I saw the score, it was relatively one-sided in favour of Australia. But we'll just see what the score is. Hopefully my app loads. It is about to. So the score at the moment is 36 points to 4 in favour of the Aussies. So more than likely Australia going to be able to go on and get themselves the win in that game and then move on to the semi-finals. And I believe in the semi-final they will be playing either New Zealand or Fiji, the winner of that game, which has taken place actually at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. We won't be covering that one on the channel, but we will be giving you updated with it while New Zealand are playing, Australia are playing up against France. And don't underestimate Colby. He's deadly with it in the hands, says Nate. But now the two sides making their way back out onto the park. I'm just looking around for Jacobson. I believe he will still be off for a little bit long. No, that's him there. Okay, so his yellow card is up now. I'm expecting the Black Ferns to win. France defense is next to none. They've got an uphill battle for sure, says Will Song. And what time is South Africa versus Ireland in New Zealand? It will be a 6:30 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. So a relatively late night game or an early morning, depending on how you look at it. We've seen Colby smash Sinclair and Farrell. He's not everyday cultures, and also Japan has improved significantly under Jamie Joseph. I think we should be considering Jamie for the next AB's coach after the after the Rugby World Cup. Says Bex there. Although I think it would also annoy a lot of people if Scott Robertson once again finds himself missing out for the All Blacks coaching selection. But it's one of those ones, New Zealand Rugby, if we know anything about them, it's that they don't do what they should. So they'll probably bring in some random coach that no one's ever heard of. Sean Stevenson breaking the line, ball on the inside to TJ Perenara, and that is a dream start to the half. Finds the offload, and Ruben Love in support. The Hurricanes players linking up, and that is going to be a try already in the first 30 seconds almost of that second half. And you're going to get some shut-eye in between games. Don't forget to set your alarm clock. You need some rest, says Roof in there as well. So, yeah, I'll probably have to set about 5 alarms just to make sure that they are all going to be going off. But, yeah, I'm not too sure what time in the afternoon we're going to be sleeping till. Maybe around 3 or 4, somewhere around there. The Kangaroos looking dangerous against Lebanon in the first quarterfinal of the Rugby League World Cup, says Cooper Cronk. And so what about England Rugby Union tomorrow? The Lebanon manager will be out for revenge. See you later, says Richard there as well. And is Rico best suited at 11, 13 or 14 in your opinion? He relies a lot on his speed rather than his genuine skills. Is he playing 13 because New Zealand are lacking the depth of the midfield? I mean, I prefer him at 11, but 13 somewhere that it looks like they're going to be going with him from here on out, unless, of course, some drastic thing changes in that midfield combination. Ruben Love, though, able to score a great try like they're saying. He has actually been part of the cricket system for New Zealand, and now New Zealand have certainly got themselves a talent in Ruben Love in the rugby world, and happen to know when the Sri Lanka versus England game is on, England must win this game, go to the semi-finals in the Cricket World Cup. I believe it is tonight at about 9 p.m., I want to say. It's in 11 hours' time, so that's actually a little bit earlier. That might be a 5... No, it might be about an 8 p.m. game, or is it 9? One moment. It is a 9 p.m. game. 9 p.m. tonight in 11 hours' time. 36-0, says Kipper Cronk. And there as well now. It's going to be kicked high from TJ Perenara, returning fire back down to the Irish half. Frawley tackled well by Roger Torvasashek. 2 men who have tasted the international kit for their sides. Now Prendergast runs it at the line. Ireland need to find their answer back because currently the score is sitting 26 points to 4 in favour of New Zealand. And also really lovely thank you, says Will Song. And it was the 10 and 9 for the Irish. It is number 9, Craig Casey, number 10, Kieran Frawley. The stage now kicked in behind. Frawley looking for the 50-22. Got it over the top of Damian McKenzie, but he is going to be able to go back and regather it. Runs it out a bit and will kick it back down the middle of the field. He had no intention on finding the touchline there, McKenzie, but now it has created the counter-attacking opportunity for the Irish. It's going to be in the hands of Kelvin Nash. 35 metres out from the line now for Ireland. Craig Casey going back. Frawley now with the little offload out the back. Nice run forward from Michael Lowry. Finds the offload. It's a great tackle made on Nick Timoney, though. Wasn't able to find the offload that he wanted. AJ Lamb makes the tackle there on Michael Lowry. They've been able to turn the ball over. I believe that might have been TJ Perenara once again. And also we have got their most likely Sexton as that 10. Never mind. Says Will Song. And hey, Hamish, did you know that AB's de Villiers played for the under-21 Bulls team? I did not know that. That is a fun fact. So I guess that's the thing. It seems to be that cricket and rugby go hand in hand in a way. Even though they're two completely different sports, we see a lot of players who kind of do the summer sport of cricket and the winter sport of rugby. And that seems to be how they grew up in terms of having both options. Kalen Boshi, another example of that, one of the players in the New Zealand competition. He was able to play under 21 for New Zealand and then decided to switch to rugby and commit to that. Where's all our Irish farmhouse going quiet there because says Nate. And also, what's the word with Josh Lord? Will he be fit to be on the World Cup squad, or will he have to look somewhere, or will we have to look elsewhere for a suitable backup for Whitelock and Retallick? I think Josh Lord will be match fit by that stage. They might end up going with a Josh Dixon or someone along those lines if they haven't got all of their locking options, but they've still got Tupavai. You've got the option maybe of Isaiah Wakaliwere Could be another player who makes his way in, or one of these guys who are in the All Blacks 15. Like I mentioned, Josh Dixon as an option. Or maybe, they've got a few young players coming up through the locking ranks. You could go with, who else have you got as a lock? I mean, you could even go with Peter Gustoa-Kula as one of your locks if you really wanted to mix and match a little bit. But they are just showing Frawley. He's had a very good game throughout this contest. All right, the time is back on. We are a minute ahead, so we'll go back. There we go. Now line out just about to be taken by the Irish. Thrown in relatively straight. Heffernan. Now starting to march forward here for the Irish. It's at the back in the hands of Dave Heffernan again, according to Kieran Reid's autobiography. He was a damn good opening batsman. Had the choice to pursue cricket to the highest level, chose rugby instead. Says the Rock there. And a few years back, we had the Proteas playing the Springboks in cricket for a charity event. Trevor Nakanye could barely hit the ball, and Victor Matfield made a 50. Says not your everyday cultist. Now Casey goes back across to Frawley. Short ball. Goes into the hands of Jamie Osborne once again now. Good tackle made by Luke Jacobson, like they're saying. 20 years of age. Casey now. That's the Frawley inside ball to Kieran Prendergast. The Irish, they need to try relatively soon in this game if they want any chance of being able to go on and get themselves the victory. Craig Casey now back across Michael Lowry. Playing fly after his demo. Look like he'll be our next number 10. He's got a decent chance at the moment. He has had a very good game about the first 45 minutes or so. So they'll keep him in mind, I would think, for the All Blacks, depending on injuries and everything along those lines. The hardest thing at the moment is trying to get through Beauden Barrett and Richie Mo'unga. But if they're going with Beauden Barrett at number 15, maybe it does open up that secondary fly half option for Damian McKenzie. Once again, Casey goes short side to Lowry. Not able to get that one out of the way there. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, and by that one I mean his thigh. So it's going to be the advantage in favour of Ireland now. 13 phases in. Michael Lowry, another attacking run. And I think it's actually another advantage against the ABs round the side. Ross Maloney, good body position by Brodie McAllister, getting over the ball, but they will be going back for that penalty. And that will basically, we basically kicked them out of 2 World Cups, the T20 cricket and League World Cups. Now this says Kipper Cronk in there as well. Big tackle made by Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, but then he just wasn't able to get his body out of the way. Got locked into the breakdown. Now shot from this angle. See, it looked like initially he might have been getting held in. But yeah, he's got to work a little bit harder to get out of that breakdown than he did RTS. So they have made another change now. It's going to be Crowley on the field for Frawley. There you go. For Frawley, I should say, rather than Frawley. But it's going to be a change for the Irish. Could it be something that might change the momentum? They still need 3 converted tries to be able to get back into this contest here for Ireland A. Gavin Coombs getting a little bit of medical attention here on the wrist. So they're going to be patching up that left, and he will be back out on the field in a very short moment, I would think. Just looking at the clock, 47. We're going to have to go back a little bit, aren't we? This is one of the only games I hope that I have to do the scoreboard manually, but you never know. Oh, they've still got it paused. They've got to go back again. All right, we'll go here, and we will go here. There we go. We have got it on the exact time that is on the current game clock. And does Julian Savia have a chance to get into the World Cup squad? He has been playing very well this year, says Rock with the question. I mean, I don't see him making it, mainly because, yes, he's had a very good season, but I feel like they'll go with the younger options, whether that is Sever Reese, whether that's Will Jordan out on that right wing side, or you could see, who else have we got as our right wing options? I mean, Lester Fainanuku might try and transition to the right wing just to get a little bit more game time. Salamahi, New Zealand, says Nate. Now the rolling maul for the Irish. 33 minutes left in this match. Still plenty of time for them to make the comeback late. They're going to have to start it relatively soon, though. Craig Casey goes off with a little grubber in behind it. Sits up for Damian McKenzie, who's been able to take it nicely Now the All Blacks, they had it back for a second, but Ireland managed to get themselves that penalty. Okay, Craig Casey thought about taking it quickly, decides against it in the end. This once again would be a kickable 3, but they don't need 3s at the moment. They need much more than that. Crowley's going to kick it into touch. I think that one's gone down the tunnel at the RDS Arena as well. And how's Ireland A losing at home? Shake my head, says Sim Slayer. I mean, this All Black side, they have a pretty solid lineup. Like, it's the thing. I'd like to think that this New Zealand side would be able to push some international teams. I'm not going to say all because I know that that would annoy people if I said they could push most international teams, but this is going to be the rolling ball now for Ireland A. It's been taken down by New Zealand, though. Great work in the breakdown. I think that's going to be Dom Gardner needs to let the ball go. He only just heard the call from the referee. Now it's the counter-attack or the counter-ruck. That's going to be the penalty to Ireland. It almost had to be for the amount of mistakes that were coming in from the ABs there. Now, 48 and a half minutes gone in this contest. Ireland once again will be looking for either the scrum or the lineouts. New Zealand, they have conceded 10 penalties compared to the 3 of the Irish, but the possession stat still sitting relatively close to 50-50. I think Ireland almost want to just take the quick tap here. Yes, they are. It's going to be the tap and go. Throwing himself at the line there, Dave Heffernan. You're in close. New Zealand, though, it's a clean turnover for Gardner, who can't quite put the ball down. Was in the field of play as the call now. TJ Perenara, believe we'll be putting it back into the pocket for New Zealand to try and clear it. Damian McKenzie, he's had his kick charged down, but it will now be the goal line dropout. Oh, actually, sorry. That's a correction. New Zealand took it back into their own 22, into their own in-goal area because they weren't able to get the ball out of that area with Ireland charging it down. Actually becomes a 5-meter scrum in favour of the Irish. So great work from Jacob Stockdale there. So this is the first, surely this isn't the first scrum we've had. It's the first scrum of the second half anyway. How many scrums have we had throughout this match? I swear it's a very low number. I forgot to turn my clock back on. We will go like that. And we will go like that. There we go. We are back to the same time. That's gone down in the front rows. And they will now have another scrum reset. I think they just said the third scrum of the night that we have seen. Front row, Mafaleo, McAllister and Ross going head-to-head with Luckman, Heffernan and O'Toole. Both sides yet to make their changes. How has Perenara been playing today? He's been all right. Overall, TJ Perenara, he's probably been, you'd say, above average, but he's also doing things that could get him in trouble in the future in terms of those breakdowns. He does enjoy slapping down the opposition halfback's hand. If he hits the ball instead of the hand, he's going to get a yellow card, but luckily for him, it's worked out today. He's looking to do it again. He's complaining about something, TJ Perenara. He's saying he was blocked. Now, the ball available at the back for Ireland. Casey gives it off to Maloney. Well, John Key at a rugby team. It would be an interesting one. I assume it would just be like every other rugby team that is around the world. Now, kick downfield. Great kick from Braden Ennor. And it goes. Oh, was it on the line? The referee says no. So because of it, it doesn't become a 50-22. And instead, that looked like an almost no-arms tackle from Ruben Love. But it's going to be back downfield to Damian McKenzie. Running at 40 metres out from his line. Fires it across to Sean Stevenson, who's currently already got himself the 2 tries in this match. Goes out on the wing. It's going to be Dom Gardner, who once again tries to chip and chase. Forced into touch for Ireland. And it will be New Zealand with the line out. And also we've got there. So what if, we have got their hope box win like this tomorrow if New Zealand 15 wins. And are they playing now, says Morna? They are indeed. As it currently sits. And also does Damo look like he'll be our next number 10, says Ed Smith. It's, I think that was a little bit earlier on, wasn't it? I've gone back a bit too far. But I think he's got a decent chance. Overall. The ball touched the line, so it should have actually been a 50-22. The commentators are saying. Then there was the shoulder charge from Ruben Love, which the crowds are all asking for now. Okay, someone's getting told to put their arm down. Not too sure what's going on there. I don't know if the referee was dressing one of the players. He had the arms up, got the sleeves over, put the arms down. There you go. Now he's got the shirt back on. That didn't actually happen, ladies and gentlemen. The Irish players are all fully dressed. But Brodie McAllister now... Oh, okay, they're actually going to be going upstairs to look at this one for Matt Dixon. The crowd are very happy with that decision. I know New Zealand will win the World Cup. And there as well says Morna. Right, this could be another yellow card. Mafaleo gone off the field. That is for Tamaiti Williams, the man mountain. Dixon off the field. That is for Zach Gallagher, who has also made his way out there. Right, they're checking this one. Of course, the Irish crowd. Okay, Matt Dixon is saying that there is a wrap. Let me see it in real speed. That is what Angus Gardner wants to see. He said it's fine. And how do you think the All Blacks have been disrespected lately, especially after the match against Japan? Says Simpslayer. I mean, there's always going to be the critics, no matter how well you play, no matter how badly you play. There's always going to be the people who still aren't happy with the All Blacks setup at the moment. They don't like Sam Cane in there. They don't like Ian Foster as the coach. So even if New Zealand win by 50, someone would say they should have won by 52. Like, that's just the way that people are, unfortunately. So I feel like it's going to be one of those ones they'll ride the wave of momentum. When the crowd are behind them, they'll be loving it. When the crowd aren't behind them, they won't really care. They'll just keep on playing and try and get them back behind them. Now another run from Dom Gardner. Perenara goes off to Patrick Tuipulotu, only sitting 15 metres out from the line now. Looking off to the left-hand side. Brodie McAllister, another carry. He's had a pretty solid game so far. Please let us know as soon as Nex comes onto the field, says Brother TV. And I would like to think he wouldn't be too far off making his way out of the park. But Damien McKenzie goes for the chip and chase. It's going to be marked by the replacement there, Frowley. Also, in fact, sorry, that might have been Crowley, if I'm not wrong. And also, morning says, Monsieur, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Currently 52.5 minutes through this contest. 26 points to 7 in favour of the Kiwis. I believe my scoreboard will once again be slightly wrong in terms of the score or the time. There we go. We have gone back, and that should be all right. That one's still live. New Zealand, they will take the quick throw. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck with a step in the midfield, looking for the offload. Breaking through now. Tuivasa-Sheck almost through the defensive line. 40 metres out. McKenzie now looking for the short ball. It's gone straight to Dom Gardner. Brilliant pass. One more on the outside. AJ Lamb offload to Enor. And it will be the try for the All Blacks. 53 minutes in. They get themselves another try. That is try number 5 in this contest now for the ABs. And yeah, I think, thanks for explaining the context. And there says Simpslayer in there as well. New Zealand, they've got themselves another try. Braden Enor scoring it. So he actually scored in the game last week up against Japan and now has scored in the game up against the Irish. So actually the only player to be able to score for the All Blacks 15 and the All Blacks this season so far. That's a stat mainly because he's one of the only players who did the transition, but still, stat is a stat. And he is very happy to be back. Braden Enor. Another try scorer. And Andy Farrell will coach against his son. Has there been such a combo in rugby history, or a combo, I think that is, in rugby history for Andy and Owen? I mean, they've certainly both made a name for themselves in the rugby world, that is for sure. And whatever D Magic touches turns into gold, says Brotherhood TV, and also AB's 15 will probably dominate this match against the Ireland A, says Mr. And currently 31 points to 7. Damien McKenzie about to line up this kick, going to try and make it 33 points for the All Blacks. I'm impressed with Damien McKenzie's boots. I know it's a weird statement, but he's got white boots on and they are remaining white. So that either means that Ireland haven't been able to tackle him enough, or he's got some really good stain-resistant boots. I think it's probably both for this one, but another 2 points on the board now. The All Blacks sitting 33 points to 7 up over Ireland A, but Braden Enor scoring himself the try. Still 25 minutes left. This has the potential of the New Zealanders getting to 50 and Ireland getting to 20, I would say, at this point in time. As long as the tries keep on raining for both of these sides, it'll be a pretty high-scoring one. Patrick Tuipulotu takes it nicely for New Zealand, just outside of their own 22. Samir D-Mac, and there as well, says Nate. And also D-Mac should be given a chance to play a team in the AB's World Cup squad. He is electric. I think it's actually, I don't know, maybe the partnership between him and Perenara is what has made this also so dangerous. Because sometimes in the past we've seen McKenzie slot into 10 and it doesn't quite work for All Blacks level. So maybe they do need Perenara as the other link in that kind of combination overall, if that makes sense. Now it's going to be Nash. Tries to go around the side. My voice is starting to disappear. We have still got another, I believe, 11 hours of live streaming that we are going to be doing. I've just realized I'm giving Toshiba some free, I guess, advertising here. I've just looked at the scoreboard. And yeah, Toshiba, there, one moment, we will go like this. There we go. We have got the one up that we were after. And also definitely sparking this backline or any backline he's feeding. I wonder what the critics will say about this match since the Irish A team on paper is more powerful than Japan. Says Sim Slayer. They'll still find things to break down. They'll say that New Zealand's discipline was lacking in this contest, which they'd be right. They've given away about 11 penalties throughout this one. And Rico can play at 13 or 14. He's a natural winger. Reminds me of Doug Hallett, another All Blacks great, says Ruth. The voice is trying to disappear. I'll probably have to drink a lot of water throughout the next 24 hours or so. The fact that I've just realized in 24 hours we will still be doing our last live stream of the day tells you how many we have got coming up on the channel in the near future. But now Craig Casey going off to the short side, tries to step around and close to the line. It's going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the Irish. New Zealand just able to drag it down, but this might end up being something more serious than just a penalty soon for New Zealand. They cannot afford to make too many mistakes here. And at the side, Craig Casey gets back up to his feet. Looks like they are just going to go with the stock standard tap and go here for the Irish. Or do they? Yes, they do. Quick tap taken by Ireland, number 16. Driving forward once again. If you were a kicker and you were bad at kicking, would you be like Damian McKenzie, Geordie Barrett, Joshua Bowden Barrett, or Richie Mo'unga? Says Mr. So is that just the question of who do I feel is the worst kicker out of the group? Bowden Barrett, probably. He used to be good, but something happened to him off the kicking tee, and he just ended up choking every single time almost, unfortunately. Number 7 offside. That's Luke Jacobson. He's going to have to be very careful because he's already had a yellow card. Marina Hamish watching from Bolivia. Says Image in there. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. The Irish only 1 metre short of the line now. That is close. That is a try. And that's probably lucky for Jacobson, like I mentioned, because if he was offside again, may have ended up with a second yellow card. After 7.5 years, we have seen the return, they have just said, for the Irish. I believe it was Dave Kilcoyne. Or was it Marty Moore? It might be Marty Moore, in fact, who was able to score that try, the number 18. And let's see how New Zealand 15 goes up against the Barbarians. Says Nathan there. Yeah, that's going to be an awesome contest. Does take place. It's a shame that they've decided to make it the same time as Scotland versus the All Blacks, though. I'm not too sure who decided that that was a good idea. But they need a pay cut because, New Zealand and New Zealand 15 theoretically should play at slightly different times. It's like having the Irish A side playing at the same time as Ireland. It's just something that they wouldn't do. Now the kick coming up for Crowley. Try and line up this one and get them back into the match just a little bit more. So we will add those points on the board. There we go. Also, we go there. Eligible to play in the ABs. He has been a legend up north. I don't think Nathiwa at this stage is eligible, but I could be wrong there. That one's going to go away to the side. Unsuccessful conversion. Score remains now 33 points to 12. And another change being made for New Zealand. Finlay Brewis makes his way onto the field. That will be for Aidan Ross and Scott Robertson and Rangi. Our idea to play some time as the ABs. Says Nathan. Also, you'll take on two of us, Sheik and Brady Inor, as we're heading to the 60-minute mark. Do they need some more time? I'm listening, says Brotherhood. I think their combination hasn't quite worked in either of the games. They haven't been terrible together, but they haven't been great. And I feel like the All Blacks will be wanting nothing short of greatness in that combination. So, yeah, either they need a lot more time together to really establish the chemistry in the midfield, or it's just not the combination. Roger Dawasa Sheik, though, stealing that ball Find the offload up to TJ Perenara. Now across to Zach Gallagher. Runs it trying to go straight over the top of the Irish replacement. Number 23, Mackenzie. Now goes off into the hands of Ruben Love. Accelerates forward. Only 3 meters out from the line now for New Zealand. Brody McAllister around the side. Just short to Mighty Williams. He might consider having a crack at the line here. And when he goes, normally he's hard to stop. But the Irish defence have done extremely well there. Perenara goes off to Mackenzie. Now Braden Ennor running at the line. The draw and pass. Marina McKelly too. Gives it off to AJ Lamb. And that will be another try for New Zealand now. And now they're moving up to almost 40 points on the board for the New Zealand 15 with still 20 minutes left on the clock. Okay, the commentator has said that Ireland are playing just a little bit too much rugby inside of their own 22 and inside of their own half. And that is something that has been costing them throughout this matchup. Ruben Love having a speed this morning, says Monsieur. Yeah, certainly a quick individual, that is for sure, for Ruben Love. He's been doing very well throughout this matchup. If anyone wondering, in the Australia versus Lebanon game, the Australians are still well in the lead. So they'll be going through to the semi-final to take on the winner of New Zealand versus Fiji. That has taken place in 22 hours' time. We won't be covering that one on the channel, but we will be doing the commentary for Australia versus France. Ruben Love, definitely one for the future, says Brotherhood TV, and Ruben Love having a speak this morning, says Mr. But yeah, he's a very pacey individual, and like you've mentioned, he's got a bright future. So only about 21 years of age as well. Damian McKenzie now lining up this kick near the touchline. Be taking his time. The lady with 5 cameras on her phone going to get this one from a good angle. And solid work, RTS and Yo Hamish. The game isn't on stand here in Aussie, says Joe Bow. So it's a shame that so many countries haven't been able to watch this contest. Good strike of the ball from McKenzie. It comes back nicely, and that will be another 2 points for the All Blacks as well. But now sitting 40 points to 12 over the Ireland A side. The second half has gone a lot slower than the first. I believe it's because it's becoming more and more of a one-sided contest. Seems like the comeback from Ireland is just not quite going to be there, sadly, in this match. I'd like to see them get one more try, though. Another big yawn from myself. TJ Perenara, though, taking it inside. Oh, in fact, no, sorry, it's Alex Nankerville who is now out on the field. That is for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Well done, Team Magic, says Brotherhood TV. Okay, 17 has been told off. I believe that was Kilcoyne who tried to go through. Didn't quite get it the way that he wanted. Now it's going to be nicely taken by Jacob Stockdale. Casey goes across to the right-hand side. Inside ball from Maloney. Gives it to Prendergast. And the Ireland still look like they've got a little bit of something left in their tank here. Salah the dummy from Crowley. Now breaking through the line. Good run. Osborne ball on the outside. It was a poor pass. And Kelvin Nash just wasn't quite able to take it the way he would have liked to. Just showing here. Nice run forward. Jamie Osborne then gave it off to, I believe, unfortunately, Michael Lowry. The pass was just low and unable to hang on to that one was Calvin Nash. And also, do you remember that cell phone ad where the rugby team manager rings the coach? Says, tell the lads to watch Walter Little, and the coach gives a strange look as the team on the sideline and says, the boss says he want to watch you waltz a little. Says, Kiwi Gamer, not that I can remember. I guess. Maybe if I saw the ad, it would refresh the brain. Congrats, Nanks. Well deserved first time out in the black. Waikato Mana, says Brotherhood TV. And Hamish, are you going to the World Cup in France next year? I am not. I would have liked to have gone, but yeah, finance-wise, I feel like I can hardly fund the channel, let alone a trip to France to stay over there for a while. So that is why we will be doing the commentary from my lounge. But we will have the green screen so that it looks like we're in France. Strategy. Now 65 minutes through this match. Nicely taken by Kelvin Nash. AJ Lamb tries to make the tackle. He did miss it in the end, but Dom Gardner helps him out. Now backline once again. Crowley on the outside. Goes to Osborne. That seems to be a combination. Great hands there. I believe those reflexes from Ruben Love. That's that youthful reflex style that he has got. Great low tackle mate as well, man. The World Cup should send some handsome checkered in there. Or the World Rugby should send some handsome checkered, says Ryan there. And also go the Kiwis, go the Black Cats, the Black Ferns, and the Kiwi Ferns. And there, greetings, Hamish. Can't stay for long. Just drop a by to give a stream a like. There's a painful scoreline. Ireland may not have the depth we hope. Should be a wake-up call to further develop players, said Mountains of Asylums. It is great to see you here, mate. Hope you do enjoy the rest of your evening. I believe it would be New Zealand look too rushed. They're playing with urgency. That's why they, again, are a little sloppy. And who are the try scorers for Ireland, says Ross. So far, we have seen a try scored by, it was Kieran Frowley. And also, we saw the try for, this is going to annoy me if I can't remember it, but I believe it was, who got the other try? I'm sure it was a forward. Or was it? I'm not sure who got the other try. I know Frawley got one. Who got the other try? I actually have gone completely blank. I think it was a forward who scored it, but someone in the chat might be able to help us out here. All right, and also you're going to watch the Black Ferns, though. Says Simslayer, we are actually doing the commentary for that matchup. And man, the World Rugby should send you some money. Are you doing them a lot of favor doing this live stream? Says Ryan in there as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, in the last 2 years, we have done, I believe, over 1,000 matches of rugby, which is an insane number. But at the end of the day, we absolutely love doing it. And yeah, we have no intentions of slowing down anytime soon. And also do fall asleep like at halftime, like John Shed, Soccer World Cup 1986. Says Kiwi Gamer, looks like Marino Makeli Tu'u has been taken off the field now. That is going to be another change made for New Zealand this time. Believe, who's that? Who's made his way out onto the field? I'm just going to have a quick look. It is Christian Leawilli, who is out there on the park now. He is playing number 8, so a bit of a reshuffle. Looks like Jacobson is going to be on the side of the scrum. And also Cam Roygard on the field for TJ Perenara is another one that the Kiwis have made. Craig Casey, though, about to use this one off the back. Short side. Michael Larry has it. Now passes one more. Not a lot of space for Calvin Nash to be able to step around there. Casey back again. Now a nice strong pass. Big bump off from, actually, no, it was that big man, Marty Moore, who got the other try. Love your passion. And may the force be with you, says Ryan. Thank you very much, mate. Oh, is that being called as forward? Yes, it has. And also we have got there, did New Zealand qualify for the FIFA World Cup? They did not. We missed out. We were beaten by Costa Rica in the end, 1-0. So, yeah, they aren't actually in the FIFA World Cup. Oh, to say that that's a forward pass is pretty rough, I would be thinking. But it looks like Jamie Osborne is also of that mindset. Maybe a bit too tough on him there. And the thing is, if it's flat, sometimes you give the benefit of the doubt to the players and then you go back and look at it if something else happens type thing. And now I believe Max Deegan, he is out there on the field. No, sorry, Kalen Blade making his way out on the field. And that is going to be for Craig Casey. Brady McAllister taken off by Tyrone Thompson, who I think could be a future player for the All Blacks. Maybe 2027 World Cup could find himself slotting into that AB side. But 68 minutes through, New Zealand currently with a 28-point winning margin. Roygard goes off to the side to Alex. Nankerville crashes at the line. I feel like Nankerville and Enor in the midfield combo may actually work better than Tuivasa-Sheck and Enor. Just have that little bit of a feeling. But Roygard goes across again. It will be the big man Fletcher Null. Oh, sorry, Finley Brewis, I should say. Now chipped him behind from Josh Ioane, looking for a bit of space. It was really not a great kick, though. Since taking off McKenzie, it seems like New Zealand have gone for a slightly different tactic. And 48-4 final score, the Kangaroos versus Lebanon. And I've just opened the score as reversed against the Box tomorrow. A good one against South Africa will really help us build for the World Cup. Maybe Ireland will actually make a semi this time, says Mountains of Asylum. And I really hope Ireland beats South Africa tomorrow. Indeed, though, Hamish, says Patrick. Nicely taken by Josh Ioane. Finds the offload to Damian McKenzie, who I believe is now playing at that kind of 15 or maybe centre role as well. A little bit of a reshuffle for New Zealand 15. Running it back, Ireland. Chip and chase. Goes in behind. McKenzie takes nicely. Tries to find the offload, but gives it straight up to Jacob Stockdale. Now Ireland find themselves on the halfway line with another attacking opportunity. Big bump off. There from, I believe, that was Max Deegan. A short ball once again will be Kilcoyne. Off to the right. In fact, it was the left. Going for the draw and pass, almost intercepted by Sean Stevenson. They did say that it did end up going backwards, so he does end up giving away the penalty. Now Crowley gives it off to Marty Moore, the try scorer from earlier on in this contest. Back to the right again. It is going to be passed across. Are they going to call that one forward as well? No, they have set play on for that one. Big run from Calvin Nash. 38 metres out from the New Zealand line now for Ireland, and they continue with their relentless attack and pressure. New Zealand making a nice tackle there. That was to Mighty Williams. Just found out this game is being aired on Virgin Rivers Sports YouTube channel. Is it? Maybe, is it depending on where you are? I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a quick look here. Yeah, it is. It is on Virgin Media Sports YouTube channel. Well, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wants to watch the last 10 minutes, Virgin Media Sports YouTube channel have actually got this game being shown. They have 15,000 watching at the moment on that one. So, yeah, anyone who does want to watch it, be sure to check that out. When's Kiwis playing Fiji tonight? Says Nate, it is tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. And, yeah, it's on Virgin Media Sport. And I'm not too sure if it's based on location. No, they do have it here in New Zealand as well. So, yeah, anyone who wants to watch the game, highly recommend that as your option. And I was down the road from the first Australia versus England test in Perth on July 1st. All the English players were at McDonald's when they were eating, or when we were eating, says Kiwi Gamer. And I would say they should replace main All Blacks with these lads. And thanks, Ken, your legend, says Jobo there. And cheers, Boss Samish, says Nate. And there as well. Currently sitting with 8.5 minutes left on the clock. One moment. We're going to go like this. Right, anyone who does want to be able to watch the game, I always mention it, if there is a way of watching the games without having to pay for them, or if we find any options, we will put it there. That link in the chat is to watch this game. You will be able to watch the last 8 minutes, or you could skip right back to the start of the game and actually watch the full-length match between these two sides. 70 minutes late to discovering, but I'm sure some would benefit for a good 10 minutes of New Zealand rugby, says Kean there. And same, says Nate, watching it with your commentary, says Fleshin. That is, of course, hugely appreciated as well. Now, Ireland still having this ball. Good counter-attack. Counter-ruck from New Zealand. Dom Gardner picks it up. And now going to be having another crack. He decides, rather than running away from players, he just tries to run over them. McKenzie goes now into the midfield. Josh Ioane goes straight up the middle of the park. McKenzie on the inside. It was a flat ball, maybe slightly forward, but it is going to be the try for the All Blacks. And that will add some more points on the board for the Kiwis. Like they're saying, they're pushing for the 50, now sitting on 45 in total for New Zealand in this contest. And it should be 47 because this should be the easiest kick of the day. In fact, we're going to go like this. There we go. We'll put the points on the board even before it has taken place. But Josh Ioane doing very well. Are you covering South Africa versus Munster A next week? It's open to go, but tickets sold out in 2 days. A surprise as the stadium holds 45,000. It's not the box first team. I will hopefully be able to cover that one, but it kind of depends a little bit on if they are showing it here in New Zealand. I have a bad feeling that they may not be, so we may have to find another way of being able to watch that game. But if they are showing it here in New Zealand, or I can find a way of watching it without it lagging a whole heap, we will certainly be doing the commentary for that game. 70 minutes late. Oh, no, I read that one. And also the New Zealand Māori, a made-up New Zealand side, seems to be doing better than the All Blacks. And also we have their Hekia do it up. An icon for thumbs, says Robert. Or sorry, it says Mark Roberts in there as well. But McKenzie gets the conversion, 47 points now to 12 in favour of New Zealand. Leon McDonald and Clayton McMillan, they'll be relatively happy with what they've seen from New Zealand. They gave away a lot of penalties in the early stages of the game, but then from there they have been able to continue to build. Kean said you're watching England-Argentina on Sunday early morning or early Monday morning for you. So it's an interesting situation, that one. We are going to be doing a live stream on the channel, but it is not going to be me who is doing the commentary for that match. I'm going to be covering Samoa versus Tonga for the Rugby League World Cup, and we are going to have Rugby Itch on to do the commentary for England versus Argentina, if that makes sense. So that is the plan anyway. Hopefully it does all go to plan for that matchup. And now Luke Jacobson charges forward at the line. Cam Roigard finds the offload now to Mighty Williams. Josh Ioane considered the kick in behind, but now gives it off to Sean Stevenson, another one of his teammates for the Chiefs. And I was like, hey, Hamish says, Connor, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Currently 75 minutes gone in this contest. We have seen a very good performance from the New Zealand A side. That one did come off Sean Stevenson in the end, so the line-out will actually go in favour of the Irish. But Jacob Stockdale will be hoping to possibly get himself a good last 5 minutes. That was a weird statement. And watching from the stream, or hear from watching the stream, had enough of the insistent children in the chat, or incessant, I should say, for that word. That is a fancy word. Although you can tune off the chat, Connor, is one thing that is beneficial. So if you do have to, you could turn off the chat and then you can still see the game alongside. And a very disappointing Ireland A, terrible at the breakdown, says Connor Cahill. Yeah, the ball security has not been what it normally is from the Irish. Kick down the wing now. And it's going to be sitting up. Calvin Nash tried to block it. It goes into touch. Good work from Josh Ioane to just put enough pressure on to make Nash have to kick it through him. And then does manage to find the touchline. But with 4 minutes left on the clock now, still plenty of time for either side to get themselves one more try in this matchup. The first match that we are covering in the full-length matches, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, it is going to be the matchup between New Zealand and France in the Women's Rugby World Cup semi-final. It's going to be an exciting fixture. It has taken place at 7:30. Also, we've got a few sevens games before that we are hoping to cover as long as my voice doesn't completely disappear. Roigard now gives it off to Christian Leo Willie. And it's just not happened for Ireland. All Blacks seem to be in complete control. Thanks, Kiwi lads, for the great game commentary. Fabulous, says Ruth. And there's, and thank you very much for being here. That one's gone down from Cam Roigard, but it was backwards, so it is going to be play on for a little bit longer. Blade now finds the offload down the short side. Here come the Irish. Beautiful offload on the inside. Prendergast just short. Josh Ioane just ruined the chance of an absolutely tremendous try, but Ireland has still got a chance of being able to put together a few more phases. Gets back up to his feet, did he? That's going to be a try for the Irish. They may end up checking this to see if it's double movement, but I believe it is going to be a try for Ireland, and that will be in the 17th or 17 points on the board for Ireland now. And crack the 50, says Cooper. I found that the Walter Little ad. Okay, they are just showing this offload, which was an offload and a half. Beautiful flick to Prendergast there, but it was this finishing one. They also want to check to see if the foot was in touch. Oh, I think the foot's on the line. I think they might have to check this one again. Tackler wasn't out and he gets back up and drives forward. Are they going to check this foot or are they just going to give it as a try? We believe it's just a foot in touch then, please. So they will be checking out. Happy New Zealand supporter. Says Ruth, and also coming to New Zealand. Says Sim Slayer, and take care of that golden voice image. Make sure it sparkles big night. Says Nate, yeah. It is going to disappear, I think, relatively shortly, which is concerning because we've still got another, I worked out we've got another 12 hours of live streaming or so, maybe 11 coming up throughout the next 24-hour period. So that's quite a lot of talking. So hopefully it does end up sticking around for as long as possible. And foot defo in touch, says Kian there. Yeah, they keep on checking to see if it's double movement, but that's not actually the one that they want to check. They first want to see if the foot is in touch. Oh, could it be simultaneous? And congratulations to New Zealand. Fantastic for you guys to run up such a high score against us. Hopefully we'll make Ireland wake up and not take things for granted. Says Mountains of Asylum, and also Hickey and Nietzsche back. Says Mark, right, this is going to be the slow motion angle. Okay, inconclusive. Try stands as it is inconclusive, so they can't overrule it. It's going to be the try for Ireland. And now they are going to have the penalty, or sorry, not the penalty, the conversion attempt coming up. Try stands well, says Kian there. Okay, it wasn't a double movement either, was the question from Patrick Tui Piloto, and also not clear enough, says Keenan, right back at your roof. Arahanui, says Nate. And there as well. So this kick should be a relatively simple one from 22 meters out. Still another 2 minutes left on the clock, so we'll go back with our score and won't make a difference to the end result. AB's 15 still win, says Novmum. Exactly right. And there's still time for another try for either side. Kick has gone over. That's going to make the score 19 points, 247 currently. So we've had a high-scoring game. We've seen a total of, I believe it's 66 points scored throughout this fixture. If that was correct, I would be quite impressed because that was very quick maths. Prendergast, though, he almost scored absolutely tremendous try. He was just short of line, but Ireland, they continued with that attacking. And then in the end, managed to get themselves over the line. And it was Max Deegan who did manage to get it. Osborne tries to run it forward once again. Jimmy Osborne. Ireland inside of their own 22. And now looking like they're going to be using a bit of a set play. It was a good tackle made, though, by the New Zealand number 19. The replacement lock, Zach Gallagher. Now big shot from Patrick Tuipulotu as well. Alex Nankerville has to wrestle down the Irish player inside of the 22 currently. Crowd are asking for a penalty of some sort. And that's going to become the scrum feed for New Zealand. To be fair, the All Blacks side has more experience than the second option Ireland side. So it was always going to be one way to, says Kian. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. There we go. First sneeze of the day. And time now, the smell of coffee, says Nate, and also fun. All they're saying is head-on-head contact. Tuipulotu might have got himself in a little bit of trouble here. Although from that angle, he does wrap. So it's whereabouts the contact is made. I'll be prepared for Wales to beat a shambles New Zealand side tomorrow, no offence. But I just don't think New Zealand has presented themselves as a dominant force lately, says Cannon. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Here's wrapped, which might save him. Maybe the Irish can get another try, but it's going to be tough. New Zealand are solid, says Ruth. Okay. Still going to be a scrum feed for New Zealand here, I believe. Oh, he's got a bit of a bump on the lip by the looks of it for Crowley. Going to shot from a different angle here. So there's a bit of head-on-head contact. Again, but this is effectively our seaside, says Cooper Cronk. And there as well. So it looks like Crowley will be able to continue, but they will just be patching him up. And Crowley is going to be a future starter for Ireland, says Jack. And also, we have got there, by then you'll need a whiskey shot. It'll help with the voice, my bro, says Kingy Ta'a. Yeah. I mean, by the end of today, once we finish in about 24 hours' time, we will have about a 4 or 5 hour break. And then we are straight back into the commentary again for the rest of the night through to about 6 a.m. So I believe in the next 48 hours, we've probably got about 20 hours of commentary that we will be doing. And yeah, Cooper, the New Zealand C team, Māori ABs is B team, says Nate. And there as well, the ball is going to be fed in for New Zealand with Cam Roygaard. Going off to the left-hand side, Joshuani attack and run, short ball to Alex Nankerville looking for the offload, gives it to Braden Enoch. Only 5 meters short of line now around the side. Roygaard recycles quickly, but he's going to be shut down relatively well by Ireland. They hold him up as well, and it will be the goal line dropout. And also we have got the A Cooper CT Māori ABs as B. We'll go like this and like this as well. Currently only 15 seconds left in this contest. They're saying close to another try for the Kiwis, but just not quite able to get through. And also like how you have Hong Kong Stadium in the background, yet it's still lurking. Pretty much that was due to my PC crashing twice for the start of the live stream. I wanted to change it, but I knew that if I did try and change it, it would probably end up breaking my PC again, which is my point, Cooper. The second, third choice teams are performing better than the first team of Foster's All Blacks. And also crazy how you do this all with very little sleep. Fair play, says Jack. Yeah, we do plenty of live streams in the weekends, that is for sure. But luckily, I get to catch up on sleep during the week. Monday, I can't catch up on sleep. I'm actually going to be going to work straight after finishing the live stream. So I might get like 3 or 4 hours sleep, and then I have got a day of work, and then I will end up getting to sleep Monday night through to Tuesday. Although we probably will have some recording to do as well. So we'll try and we'll get sleep at some stage, I'm sure. That's going to be full time, though, in the contest. End of the matchup, and New Zealand, they are victorious. The AB's 15, 47 points to 19. And I guess a little bit more of a gap in the score than a few people would have been expecting. And the current year results will mean nothing. We can't back it up in France next year. Ireland needs to improve if we want a successful World Cup, says Mountains of Asylum, and love New Zealand, but it feels so hard. Or I feel it's hard to really confidently say that they have a game in the bag. Japan had them beat realistically, says Kian out Hong Kong for the Rugby World Cup 2023. Let's go. And you're right there, Fozzie the Messiah, says Cooper Cronk in the chat also. But nonetheless, I think that is going to be almost the end of this live stream. Just dreadful. Ireland A are going to have to step it up to the next level, says Connor Cahill. I found that Walter Little ad, says Kiwi Gamer in the chat as well. And also, speaking of Ireland, it was ideal to step up once Sexton retires next year. I mean, you've got a few options at the moment. I feel you got Frawley, you got Carberry, Byrne, and then also, I guess you could say also Crowley as another option. I believe there's one other man as well in the Irish fly half contention. Can't quite think of him off the top of my head, though. But yeah, they've got a few options. None of them quite to the level of Sexton at this stage, but a lot of potential in those young players. So maybe in the future, we do see someone stepping up to that Sexton level or somewhere relatively close to it. I wish I turned off the chat of the stream at the start. I found myself getting angry at the incompetent people in the chat, says Connor Kale, and also enjoy your coffee. Another AB's try. This is like Wimbledon tennis side. That side, this side. McKenzie has proven to be a great kicker, says Roof. Yeah, he had a very successful game, Damian McKenzie, today. But nonetheless, I think that is going to be the end of this live stream. So the plan now will be to go to sleep for a few hours. Then we will be up. We will be doing some of the sevens, and also we will end up doing the match between New Zealand and France for the women's semi-final of the Rugby World Cup. And nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and we will see you all for the next one.